I'd like to make it a Shakespearean analogy, if I may. And I hope this doesn't catch everybody off guard, but our next guest is the Romeo to my Juliet. You know, Romeo was a Montague, Juliet was a Capulet, and Coach Drink from Missouri, I should hate him with every part of my body because I am a diehard Arkansas fan, and he is the Missouri head football coach, and all he does is beat us and talk crap, but I love him. Coach, I can't get enough. You're the Juliet. I'm the Juliet. One of the two. Good to see you, Coach.
You know, you might be the most versatile radio host or TV show host in the country. You know, we're doing all these draft analysis. You know, at some point they need to do an analysis of the different hosts for all these different shows. I think you're like a utility player, right?
I am. I'm pretty good at a lot of things, and we did measure my arms yesterday just to see in case the draft, and I had extremely long arms and larger hands than Kenny Pickett. So 6'1" with like 9.5-inch hands. So feeling pretty good today. And thanks for the compliment, Coach. I do want to talk.
They say about big hands, right?
Not true, though. I can tell you just from it's not true.
Big
what
gloves.
They say. Yeah. I do.
No, I was talking about it's better for you to be able to hold the football in cold weather. I don't know where you were going with that.
Yeah, that was not it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the draft since you bring it up. You got Membou, excellent lineman. Are you getting a lot of calls that go, hey, what kind of guy is he? Or what do they ask whenever you have a player that's about to be drafted?
Man, it ranges. Different organizations ask different questions. You know, the first conversation really with Armand is it's all about his age. You know, what's his maturity level like? Obviously, early enrollee, early NFL entry, kind of background information, what character, what character. And then everybody in the NFL is always consumed with like, what's your comp? What's your comparable offensive lineman that you've coached in the past that we would recognize? And so those are kind of the questions we're getting right now with Armand. The different questions for, I know you didn't ask about it, but Luther are all about, you're hearing some of these anonymous quotes or anonymous scouts. And so now these go into what is the real truth? You know, we had one, I guess he's still on the draft. I don't know. He's not on ESPN anymore for whatever reason, but, he said that Luther Burden was a diva. And, so trying to counteract some of those conversations and questions has really been what I'm doing. I'm talking to a lot of GMs, talking to a lot of position coaches and giving them the truth of who these players are.
Is a lot of your day now draft related? Because again, you have, we could go Burden, we could go, you mentioned Armand Membou, even like Brady Cook, and people may be calling to ask, like, is that a lot of what's happening right now because we are getting so close to the draft?
Yeah, it really is. Ever since Pro Day, we were on spring break. I was with my family, and I'm spending a lot of time talking on the phone. I was at dinner twice talking to two GMs about different guys. And you're absolutely right. Brady Cook, Theo Weiss, Johnny Walker are all getting conversations, too, about what is their character, what are we missing, what don't we know. And it's been really fun. I think the best one to talk about, though, has been, for me, it's been having conversations about Luther Burden because there are these like quiet critics out here who say he has a character problem. And my response to everybody has been, he's never been arrested. He's never had a public incident at our university. He has never once been to my office to complain about his role, never once complained publicly about I'm not getting enough touches, has just been a great teammate, an All-American, throughout his time here, never once came in tried to renegotiate NIL, never one time heard from him, his parents, or his agent about his NIL contract. Every time just said, I'll trust you. Never once was the highest paid player on my football team. And yet people are out there saying stuff from the shadows. And so that's honestly been the funnest thing, is being able to combat rumors with truth. And that's always a fun part of your job.
Now, I'm not going to ask you to fundamentally fix NIL, but something we're seeing now in basketball that also happened in football was the NIL portal. They're so they live together now, basically in the Venn diagram, and like the portal's open as the tournament's happening. During bowl season, the portal was open while the games are still being played. So I'm not asking to fix everything, but shouldn't they fix the dates on when this can actually happen?
I mean, one of the fundamental problems that we have within sports right now and with college athletics is we try to run a multi-billion-dollar industry through the lens of 22 sports, specifically within the SEC. And you cannot find rules that adequately work for football and wrestling or baseball or men's golf or women's soccer. Like, they're all different, but we're trying to establish a settlement or a rule for everyone and trying to have an umbrella, and it just doesn't work. Specifically, yeah, I mean, we're ruining an awesome Sweet 16 and Final Four, or we're, in my opinion, greatly hurting the playoffs, because the conversations aren't about the teams on the field. They're about who's in the portal and what's their team going to look like next year. And it just takes all of the focus off of the wrong things. I think the NFL is a master at what they do. They have figured out how to be in the news cycle every month. They have something related to the NFL every month, whether it's free agency, whether it's the combine, whether April is all about the draft and owners meetings. We haven't figured out how to do that. And the problem is, it's because we're trying to solve everybody's issues with one umbrella, and it's just not going to be able to do that. Fundamentally, the issue that football has is it doesn't line up with the academic dates. So, if we were to try to remove the portal window from January to the end of the playoffs, you'd be in the middle of February. Well, the problem with that is young men wouldn't have the ability to enroll in schools. Basketball doesn't have that issue. So I don't understand why basketball couldn't wait until, April 7th to open their portal for 15 days and then let people figure out where they're going in May. But again, I got my own issues with football.
Coach Drink is on with us now from the University of Missouri. There was a brief time where I was being, I'll even say recruited, not for sports, but to run for governor of my home state. And once I learned it was all being on the phone asking for money, I was like, I'm kind of out. Like, that feels very boring. Like, I just want to go and make decisions. And so is that more of what your job is now than it's ever been, is just trying to find ways to make sure your players are adequately covered financially?
Yeah, that's what it's been for the last three and a half years. But I hopefully with the new revenue and all that, that'll kind of funnel into the athletic department side and just go back into the fundraising for that, and won't be as sports specific, and maybe not even above and beyond what you're trying to do for the revenue share piece. And hopefully you're actually just taking the money that you're generating through the revenue that you're making as an athletic department, not having to ask. I think the struggle with NIL and money right now is why it's not sustainable, is because you're asking boosters and donors to go above and beyond their commitment from tickets and scholarship donations and suites and all that stuff. And at some point that's going to always run out of money. So hopefully you can tie it into the rev share. But I did see, with the Razorback Sweet 16 appearance, I saw where you were on the, giving another 50,000 or something to their NIL. So that was pretty good. I mean, they kind of got you
was
on the
that
hook,
public?
right?
I swear to you, I did not know that was public. I did not, I don't mind, because you're not making a joke.
I thought you tweeted it.
I didn't tweet that.
I'm in for another 50. Great job, Cal.
Wait, did you literally see that somewhere? This is a real question, or did you make that up? Because that's an exact.
No, I swear, I thought I saw it on your Twitter.
That's an exact. No, you didn't see it on my Twitter. That's an exact number of an amount. Somebody's hacked into my account, and Coach Drink is the one that. Wow. Okay, I'm a little shook right now because I did.
Well, I mean,
I did donate $50,000 to that, and I didn't know anybody knew that. And now Drink just put me on blast, but apparently it wasn't blast; it was public. Okay, I got some people to hit up after this interview. All right, Coach, I see what we're doing here.
What an awesome thing, man! I mean, seriously,
I ain't giving it to you.
To have you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm giving it to you. You guys have enough. You guys are doing awesome. I don't know. You guys have all the players. Coach, how are you getting players up there? Like, what is your pitch? Obviously, everyone is trying to make sure the players are financially stable, but what's the pitch about coming up to Missouri?
Man, honestly, I think it's recruiting is all about selling what you believe you're going to do in the future or what you've done in the past. And for us, with guys like Armand Membou and Luther Burden, we were selling what we believed we could do. And we wanted to recruit the best players in our state and keep them home and develop them and put them in the NFL. And you look at what we've done, with Luther and Armand, a guy from St. Louis, a guy from Kansas City who were highly recruited. And in 3 years, both of them are going to be first-round draft picks. They came in here. They got the opportunity to play. They were developed with an elite edge by Ryan Russell and our strength staff. They had unbelievable coaching. They were put in a great situation by playing in the SEC to put their talents and skills to use. And then obviously they're going to get to do that on Sundays now in the NFL. So I think when you have things that you can sell, tangible evidence, it's really good. And then when you don't, you have to sell a vision for what you believe is in the future. And fortunately for us right now, the University of Missouri and our fan base is buying what we're selling. We've got a $250 million North End Zone project going right now. We've got 2 first-round draft picks. And we've put together a really talented football team for this upcoming season. And so hopefully, last year we had a first-round draft pick. This year, I believe we'll have 2 first-round draft picks. And so for us, the challenge is for our staff and for our player acquisition is we got to go make sure we have another first-round draft pick. And that's how you build into the program that we want to become.
Coach got me a little shook right now with that donation announcement. I didn't know I didn't even know that was public. But see, this is why I love you. And I'm going to switch script up a little bit, because I do a lot of shows and I'm in a lot of places, hopefully, and things are going pretty well. And there are times where I just say stuff that I know is going to get picked up, because it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to say something. It's probably going to catch people in a weird way, and I know that it's going to make some noise. You say a lot of stuff, Coach, that gets picked up in at odd times and places. Any of that ever on purpose, or sometimes are you just feeling it and they catch you off?
Both. Both. I think the one I had a couple of years ago about Tennessee was totally, I did not anticipate that to go the way it did. I think early in my career, I made a comment about Kirk Herbstreit that I did not anticipate to go the way it did. But now that I've sat in this seat and understand, the microscope that a head SEC coach has, now I'm a little bit more aware of what I say. I think 2 years ago, I made a comment about, conference realignment and how I disagreed with it for the fact that it was a football decision and not really based upon what was best for the student athletes all the way across the board. And I knew that would get picked up and ran with, and I was comfortable with it. I was comfortable with my comments and comfortable with my stance. And so I let it rip. So I think it's early in my career, I didn't really understand it, but now I'm to the point now where I understand what is said and how it's going to be taken.
Greatest hits for me is the Tennessee one you're talking about. We Stand on Business. Is that the one you're talking about at midfield?
Yeah.
That one.
I got ran over by my own crew there. That was a mic'd up moment. I knew I was wearing a microphone, but I thought for sure we would have creative control and be able to catch that and make sure that didn't become public. And yeah.
My other favorite is this. I think last season when Cook was hurt, and you were like, you're lucky we don't have our starting quarterback, and they kind of caught you over there on that one. I like that one too. That was a good one.
Yeah. That one I didn't really understand that was going to be on there. That was another one that in the heat of moment, like again last year on the sidelines, Barstool Sports caught me against Mississippi State. I didn't really think that one would go anywhere either, but it did, and it's all right. It is what it is.
Yeah, and I didn't think Coach would come on and say I just gave $50,000 to the school, and it is what it is. I mean, that's why I love him.
Bro, I mean, that's a serious flex just to be dropping $50K.
But I wasn't flexing though. Like there was no flex would have been me saying it.
I mean, you're like a super booster. Like, dude, you would be like at this level.
Hey, listen,
like sideline passes and. I mean, you ought to be in the locker room celebrating with Cal when they go to the Sweet 16. And Fred, I bet Pittman would have you down to the lake house, man, when you're down there at Oaklawn sometime.
You know what, Coach? I'm gonna say this because this is why I love him. He's triggering me a little bit, and not even at him, but it's like, I'm a few hundred into the program, and I can't even get a call back sometimes. I bet you if I was giving that money to Missouri, I'd be getting calls back, wouldn't I?
Yeah, be getting text messages pretty regularly. But Hey, here's the deal, man. You got nothing but excitement in the future, man. I think Sam put together a really good football team. I've been watching what they do out of the portal, obviously, because we play them. Obviously, what Coach Cal did with the basketball program was awesome, and shoot baseball with Coach Van Horn is always really good. So you just keep investing. Their time's coming, man.
I want to ask you.
And I know they appreciate you. I know they do.
You don't know they do. I don't know they do. They don't let me know. But let me ask you this: you're a former high school coach. Does that affect your relationship with high school coaches now because you've been in their shoes?
Yeah, I think it always helps me develop real relationships with those guys and understand where they're coming from. I don't always get their players, and I don't always get it right, in recruiting their guys. Sometimes they want me to take guys that I can't take, or sometimes they send guys to other places. But we have a good enough relationship that I can understand where they're coming from. They can understand where I'm coming from. I've got another guy on my staff, Rick Jones, who is from Arkansas in Oklahoma, who does a great job maintaining those relationships, cultivating those relationships. Again, when we stepped foot at the University of Missouri, we said, in order for us to win at the level we want to win, we have to recruit this state better and harder than anywhere else. And I think we've actually been able to do that consistently. We've had a few leaks. I mean, I lost Ryan Wingo to Texas and Aeneas Williams to Notre Dame. So we haven't been perfect, but we've been pretty good. And if we can continue just to get a little bit better, then we'll continue to put this program where we want. I think we've done a pretty good job expanding our radius. We try to recruit 400-mile radius and continue to get the best players, whether it's in Illinois. We haven't really got into Iowa the way we want to. We've got into Arkansas a little bit, getting into Oklahoma and Kansas a little bit more. And if we can continue to do that, I think that's the key to our success.
I love him, and I shouldn't. It's Coach Drink from Missouri. Good luck, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know. What do you say to Coach? Good to see you, Coach, and hopefully I'll talk to you again soon, and hope you have a great offseason, I guess.
Hey, man, again, if there's a versatility ranking, I mean, you've got the ability to be Dr. Phyllis, you got the ability to host musical guests and radio, and now you're on the Rich Eisen Show with the NFL draft prep. I mean, golly, that's pretty impressive, man. Keep up the good work.
See, now we're good again. See, but he glazed me at the end, and now I feel good about it.
That's right.
All right, Coach, have a great rest of the day. There he is, our buddy, Coach Drake from Missouri. Man, just threw me under the bus like that.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.